Something deep inside you has been slowly waking up. Quietly, without warning, it has been rising the way the ocean tide rises at first, almost unnoticed, pushing gently against the edges of your awareness until the pressure became too strong to ignore. You have felt it during silent moments, in the space between one season of life and the next, in that strange but familiar feeling that something uncommon has always lived within you. It was placed there long before your body was formed, woven into your design by a God who has never created an ordinary vessel. You tried to explain it. You searched for words strong enough to carry the weight of what you were sensing. But normal language always seemed too small, because what you carry cannot fully fit into human vocabulary. It existed before your experiences. It existed before your understanding of yourself. It was written in eternity, and then placed inside someone who would spend years wondering why life demanded so much more from them than it seemed to demand from everyone else. Now the covering begins to lift. Ephesians 1:4-5 does not describe selection as some distant religious idea. It speaks directly about you. For he chose us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and blameless before him in love. In love, he predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, according to his pleasure and will. Before the world existed, before one human voice ever spoke your name, before any environment shaped your expectations, before anyone could tell you your value or try to convince you that you had none, heaven had already decided who you were. You were chosen. You were separated for purpose. You were assigned. Everything that has happened since then, including the confusion, the pressure, the seasons that stretched you past what felt survivable, has been moving toward this unveiling. You did not arrive here by accident. A higher hand has been guiding you with a precision only the Creator could design. While you wondered if your life lacked direction, while you questioned why the road that looked simple for others kept twisting and breaking you open, heaven was positioning you intentionally in ways your circumstances could never explain and your timeline could never measure. What has been hidden under years of resistance, misunderstanding, and pressure is about to become visible. And what you are about to understand about yourself will not simply change your future. It will reveal the version of you that existed before the world tried to define you. You sensed early in life that you were different, long before you had words for it, before you understood calling or purpose. Something inside you knew your path was not shaped like everyone else's. Many times you wondered if something was wrong with you, but nothing was wrong. Something was designed. Job 33:4 says, "The Spirit of God has made me. The breath of the Almighty gives me life." Your design did not begin on earth. The breath inside you came from above. That means the structure of who you are was never dependent on the approval of the world around you. God was not checking cultural expectations when he formed you. Isaiah 64:8 gives another picture. We are the clay, you are the potter. God shapes vessels carefully. Every unusual detail about you, every part of you that refused to fit into the mold around you, was intentional. The potter knew exactly what the vessel would carry, so he formed it accordingly. Your differences make sense through heaven's eyes, even when they made no sense through the world's perspective. Think about the moments when your thoughts, convictions, or desires felt out of place in the environment around you. While others were satisfied, you felt restless. While others accepted certain patterns easily, something inside you resisted. Not because you were rebellious, but because your spiritual design refused to settle into structures it was never created for. That discomfort was not weakness, it was a signal. 1 Corinthians 12:6 reminds us that God works differently through every person. Not identically, not predictably, but intentionally. Your differences were signs of purpose, not signs of failure. The hunger you felt for deeper things, for what lasts instead of what fades, for truth instead of appearances, revealed an origin that no system on earth could create. You tried to adjust yourself. You tried to fit into spaces that rewarded conformity. Yet something inside you pushed back every single time, not because you were difficult, but because your assignment cannot survive inside confinement. Heaven does not create carriers of uncommon influence to disappear into systems built on temporary rewards. It forms them to stand apart and introduce what those systems are missing. Have you ever walked into a room and sensed something shift around you without knowing why? Not pride, something quieter, something deeper, an awareness you could not explain. What you felt was real. Your presence was speaking to spiritual realms that recognized what you carried before you recognized it yourself. The weight on your life was visible in the spiritual realm long before humans around you could explain why they reacted to you the way they did. The forces that opposed you recognized your assignment before you discovered it. That is why the battle around your identity began so early and attacked so specifically. You were never dangerous because of what you had accomplished. You were dangerous because of what you were born carrying. Rare things always attract resistance, not because they are weak, but because they are valuable. Once you stop measuring yourself against standards designed for different people, your wiring begins to reveal your calling clearly. You were built to stand where others collapse. The world did not create you, and because of that, the world does not determine your limits. The enemy attacked your identity because of what you carry. Darkness never wastes energy on empty vessels. Think about that carefully. Every pressure you endured, every confusing season, every battle that appeared before you even understood yourself was not random. It was targeted. The enemy recognized the weight inside you long before you learned how to walk in it. What came against you was not careless aggression. It was a response to a blueprint heaven had already written over your life. Your warfare was never proof of emptiness. It was proof of significance. The enemy did not attack your talents first. He attacked your identity, because who you believe yourself to be determines how much authority you walk in. If you doubt your identity, you hesitate to step into your purpose. Confusion becomes a weapon that silences destiny before it fully rises. That is why many of your earliest wounds attacked your confidence, your voice, and your understanding of your worth. If the enemy could distort your inner image, he could delay your activation. Distortion was always the goal. The painful events were simply the delivery method. Think about the person constantly labeled average despite working harder than everyone else. Teachers misunderstood them. Systems measured them incorrectly. They carried those labels for years like permanent truth. Yet the problem was never their capacity. The problem was that ordinary systems were not built to measure uncommon people accurately. The enemy studied the blueprint heaven placed on your life. Once he recognized your future, he moved to create interference. Rejection was not proof that you lacked value. It was evidence of calling. People reacted to the weight on your life even when they could not explain why. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5 says, "The weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. They have divine power to demolish strongholds." Every lie spoken over your life, every whisper telling you that you were behind, ordinary, too broken, too much, or not enough, was an argument against what God declared about you. John 8:32 says the truth sets people free. Freedom creates authority. That is why clarity was so difficult to reach during certain seasons. The enemy understands how dangerous you become once you fully awaken to who you are. The moment you replace false narratives with God's truth, confusion loses its power completely. Psalm 18:39 says, "God arms you with strength for battle." That strength is already rising inside you now. It no longer depends on outside validation, because it is rooted in something the enemy cannot remove. You are beginning to understand your past differently. The rejection was distinction. The pressure was preparation. The weight was a signal. The battle over your identity is losing power because you are becoming the person the enemy hoped you would never discover. Long before your feet touched this earth, your existence was already known in eternity. Nothing about your arrival was accidental. Purpose was flowing through your design before anyone spoke your name. Heaven recognized your significance before the world formed an opinion about you. This means your beginning cannot be measured only through childhood memories or family history. Your assignment existed before both. Your timeline began in the mind of God. 2 Timothy 1:9 says God called us according to his purpose and grace before time began. That means your purpose is not something you are trying to discover from scratch. You were released into the world already carrying it. Your existence is scheduled, not random. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but the Lord's purpose prevails." Your path has always reflected orchestration, not chance. Even the painful seasons were preparing you. Think about the person who spent years in a position beneath their true capacity. Doors kept closing, others advanced ahead of them. Yet what looked like delay was actually reinforcement. God was strengthening a foundation strong enough to carry the weight of the future assignment. Psalm 33:11 says, "The plans of the Lord stand forever." The enemy may delay visible progress, but he cannot cancel what God established. Every waiting season, every silent stretch, every painful delay was shaping qualities necessary for your calling. Your assignment existed before your name did. That truth explains why some seasons felt so confusing. You were carrying something heaven fully recognized while you were still learning how to understand yourself. Every unusual sensitivity, every internal tension, every feeling of being out of place served a greater purpose. Your assignment was never meant to fit comfortably into structures too small for what you carry. Every time you tried to reduce yourself to fit into smaller spaces, the discomfort was destiny refusing confinement. You were designed as an answer to a need that existed long before you arrived. Your life has been moving according to timing greater than human understanding. Nothing in your story has been wasted. If your battles felt heavier than what others seem to face, hear this clearly. Your calling is uncommon. You never faced ordinary resistance because you were never designed for ordinary influence. There are moments late at night when you look at the lives of others and quietly wonder why your road demanded more pain, more waiting, more stretching than theirs. Not bitterness, just confusion. You could not see yet that the intensity of the warfare was evidence of the importance of your assignment. 1 Peter 4:12-13 says not to be surprised by fiery trials. The fire was not random, it was proportional. God allows certain battles only for people being prepared to carry greater weight afterward. You survived heat that would have destroyed weaker vessels. That alone says something powerful about the purpose inside you. Psalm 34:19 says, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him from them all." Many afflictions, not one or two, many. The repeated battles were not proof that God abandoned you. They were proof that heaven continued protecting you. James 1:3-4 explains that the testing of faith produces endurance. Endurance was being built inside you. Wisdom was forming through pressure. Character was growing through pain that comfort could never produce. The tears watered qualities that ease cannot create. The battles carved strength into your spirit. Even the loneliness carried meaning. Your preparation had to look different because your assignment is different. Heaven trusted you with battles that matched your spiritual capacity, not your emotional comfort. Every burden that looked designed to destroy you was actually shaping you. The fire changed you. What comes out of refining never looks the same as what entered it. It becomes stronger, clearer, and more aligned. What God placed inside you has no historical comparison. This is not empty encouragement. It is a statement about the nature of what heaven deposited into your generation. What you carry is original. It is not a repeat of the past. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing." God is not simply repeating old patterns through you. He is revealing something fresh for this moment in history. What lives inside you was designed specifically for this generation. You are not here by coincidence. You are part of an unfolding plan greater than what your natural eyes can currently see. A nation stepped out of 400 years of slavery because of the anointing resting on one man's life. David carried kingship, the ability to rule, to worship, to fight, and to recover. The giants that fell before him and the psalms that have shaped the prayer life of generations after him all testify to what one person's anointing can release into history. These were powerful expressions of divine strength working through dedicated human lives. But what you carry is not a copy of what Moses carried, and it is not the same assignment David was given. What God has placed inside your spirit is not a repetition of old stories. It is the beginning of a chapter that has no previous page. Habakkuk 1:5 shows the scale of what God does in certain generations. Look at the nations and watch closely, and be amazed. For I am doing something in your days that you would not believe even if someone explained it to you. What is hidden inside you is part of that unimaginable plan. Heaven has placed new dimensions of power for new eras, and this is your era. You were chosen to reveal a reality that has never been fully seen before, to become the channel through which God's unmatched glory touches the earth in a way it never has. 1 Corinthians 2:9 carries the depth of what God prepares for those who love Him. No eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no mind has imagined what God has prepared for those who love Him. You are living inside that promise. What has been prepared for you and through you goes beyond the limits of human imagination. The enemy has tried many times to convince you that what you carry is ordinary, that you can be replaced, that you are nothing special. Every one of those thoughts was a lie, designed to stop you from stepping into what would destroy his plans. Think about those moments when you entered a place and felt something shift without saying a word, as if the atmosphere changed when you arrived. The room may have felt different, the mood may have shifted, and people may not have said it out loud, but they felt it. That was not imagination, and it was not pride. It was the response of the environment to what you carry inside you. Rare power does not fit easily into ordinary spaces. What you carry does not blend with normal patterns because it comes from a higher realm that the natural cannot fully hold. You are not a duplicate. You are not a recycled calling. You are a revelation, a unique expression of God's creativity that has never appeared in this form before. Your life is a message. Your existence is an announcement. What heaven is releasing through you is not only important for your personal journey, but also for the generation you were sent to impact and reshape. God hid you because you are valuable. Hidden seasons are not prisons. They are secure places. A secure place exists because what is inside it is too precious to be left exposed. You may have felt overlooked, forgotten, or stuck in silence that did not make sense compared to what you knew you carried. That hiddenness may have felt like punishment because human thinking connects visibility with progress. But heaven does not measure progress that way. What God was doing in your quiet seasons was not neglect. Colossians 3:3 explains it clearly. For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God. That is not abandonment. That is the safest position possible. Your hiddenness was proof of value, not rejection. God does not expose what he treasures to environments that can damage it or misuse it before it is ready. He surrounds it with unseen protection. Some relationships did not work out not to hurt you, but to protect what he was forming in you. Some opportunities did not open because stepping into them early would have weakened what makes you fit for your true assignment. Every closed door carried divine wisdom. Every delay was protection from distortion. Your separation was intentional preparation, so you could arrive whole. Exodus 33:14 says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." That rest is not laziness, it is alignment. In those quiet seasons, when everything outside became silent, your inner voice became clearer. You discovered your values, your limits, and your identity without needing approval from others. God was revealing you to yourself. Psalm 27:5 says, "He will hide me in his shelter and set me high upon a rock." The order matters. Hidden first, then lifted. Elevation only comes after proper formation in concealment. You are not hidden because you were weak, but because you are set apart. What you carry is sacred, and sacred things are not released carelessly. The loneliness you felt was not a curse. It was evidence that your life operates on a different frequency. Not every environment can match what is inside you. Silence around you was not emptiness. It was formation in progress. Every moment of being unseen was actually a moment of being fully seen by God, the only one who sees accurately. During those times, he shaped your voice, strengthened your patience, and built your authority so that when you step out, nothing in you is unfinished. Your authority is stronger than anything that comes against you. If you truly understood what is inside you, fear would lose its power. The authority in you is not something you are trying to earn. It is already placed there. It does not depend on feelings, confidence, or people's approval. It flows from Christ himself. That kind of power cannot be stopped by opposition. It cannot be reduced by attacks. Mark 16:17 shows that signs follow those who believe, not those who perform perfectly, but those who believe. Every attack against you only revealed how important your assignment is. Romans 8:37 says we are more than conquerors, not barely surviving, but already victorious. That means every attack has already been answered by victory. When you understand your position, fear loses its control. Psalm 144:1 says God trains your hands for war. That means your strength is not random. Your life has been prepared for impact. Every battle you faced was also training. When you understand who you are, life stops feeling like survival and becomes a place of authority. Opposition becomes proof of importance, not proof of defeat. Hell does not fear your potential, it fears your activation. The moment you step into what God placed in you, everything changes. You do not need more power, you need alignment. Everything has already been placed inside you. Nothing is missing. What is missing is activation. Activation is not something magical. It is a decision to use what God already gave you. Joshua 1:8 shows that success comes from keeping God's word in your mind and living by it. When your thoughts align with God's truth, your life begins to shift. Renewal of the mind is activation itself. Hebrews 5:14 says mature people have trained their senses through use. That means growth comes through practice, not waiting. Proverbs 3:5-6 teaches trust and obedience. When you follow God's direction, your path becomes clearer. Your words also carry power. When you speak in faith, you release direction into your environment. Worship brings alignment, and prayer keeps your connection clear. Everything inside you responds to use. Nothing grows by waiting, it grows by stepping forward. Heaven is waiting on your response, your agreement, and your movement. Your life is meant to impact others. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine so others may see and glorify God." Your life naturally affects environments. Philippians 2:13 shows that God works within you to fulfill His purpose. So what flows through you is not only your effort, but His direction through you. Isaiah 61 says, "Rise and shine, because your light has come." That means the light is already there. You are not creating it, you are releasing it. Your obedience affects more than your life. It affects others, families, and generations. Your decision to move forward is connected to someone else's breakthrough. Revelation 3:8 says, "God has opened a door that no one can shut." Opposition cannot close what God opened. Your timing is aligned. What was hidden is now coming forward. Micah 7:8 says, "Even if I fall, I will rise." What looked like failure was preparation, not ending. Now everything in your life carries meaning beyond you. Your steps matter. Your choices matter. What you carry is not common. It is unique and powerful. You are not entering opportunity. You are entering revelation. Now take this truth into your spirit. Everything God placed in you is real. Nothing was wasted. The hidden seasons, the silence, the waiting, all had purpose. God was building you, protecting you, and preparing you. Now is the time to move. Not later, not when it feels perfect, but now. What is inside you is ready. What was hidden is ready to be seen. Walk forward with confidence. What you carry will impact lives you may never meet. The world will respond to what God placed in you. The process is complete. The unveiling has begun.